Morro Bay is a small town, population 10, 11,000, coastal town. Not a lot of industry drives this town. Lots of mom and pop businesses. It's just a peaceful little town. It's often been called a fishy little sleeping town. Hi, welcome to Coalesce Bookstore. I'm going to take you on a little tour. This is sort of like Main Street down the center here, with little avenues off on either side. These are a lot of our new books, new and noteworthy fiction and nonfiction. You'll notice that we have a lot of card racks in the bookstore. We sell a lot of greeting cards. In here we have, past yet another card rack, we have our metaphysical section, incense, little Buddhas, lots and lots of books and decks, tarot cards. Moving on, this is our natural history section. These are books on tape, or excuse me, on CD. We sell a lot of books on CD these days. This is bird books. Morro Bay is a bird sanctuary, so we have a lot of books on, it's one of our niches, books on birds. And just around the corner, we have our nautical section, which I would hold up against any store on the coast. These are cookbooks. Here's poetry. This is our kids' corner. We've deliberately placed this corner away from both the front and the back door. It's almost kind of like a little playpen for the kids. Little kids' books, lots of board books, also young adult, everything crammed in here. These are more interactive, kids' gifts, puzzles, parenting. All of our books are a mix of new and used, and new and used are in the sections together. Used books are identified with the little yellow sticker on the spine. Nice to have the mix of new and used. If you were to continue on out the back door, you can see this is our garden area in the rain. The chapel is just out to the left of the blue fountain, there in the rear of the gardens.
And so what makes Coalesce Bookstore unique compared to other bookstores?
You know, from the beginning, we always had new and used books at Coalesce. Back in the 70s, that was a novel idea. Anymore, it's not, but it makes books more affordable for a lot of people. And in our town, we have people that don't have a lot of money. So that's one thing I think is unique about Coalesce. You can still stop into Coalesce and you can purchase a used book for $2 or $3.99. And we also, people get married through Coalesce, and we have memorials, both weddings and memorials in our chapel. We christen babies here, and we have lots of different events in the chapel that we're really only limited by the imagination of our community. We trust our community to find great uses for our chapel. I also believe, I've always believed in the power of books to improve lives. We have all kinds of books in the bookstore. We have romances and westerns and lots of nautical books and kids. We also we have a focus in our store on books that are tools for improving and changing people's lives. So I would say our mix of books and their affordability in many cases, and the fact that there's a lot more going on. We call ourselves Coalesce a bookstore and more, and it's that more that happens out here in the chapel.
And how has business been over the years?
The first 11 years I owned the bookstore. I worked as a waitress at night at the local fishbowl restaurant. I was able to stop doing that in '84 It's, I've often said to people that owning a bookstore, a small bookstore in a small town, is sort of a choice for downward mobility financially. This is never going to be a multi-million-dollar career. It's not going to happen. But we survive. And one of the ways we survive, I don't know how bookstores do get along if they don't have something like this chapel to help to fuel their incomes so they can survive. It's, traditionally books have a less of a discount than almost any other retail item. Groceries, clothing, everything is 50% or better when you're buying it wholesale. Books traditionally 35 to 40%, plus they're bulky and heavy to ship. Even media mail, it's expensive to ship books. And media mail takes forever, which you often can't do when you're wanting to service a customer who needs a book yesterday. So it's a challenge. One of the things that we've done, thanks to my staff, my wonderful staff, we've branched out, like most businesses do these days. We have gifts, we have music, CDs, we have incense and all the book paraphernalia, bookmarks, book plates, we have lots of greeting cards. We carry lots of greeting cards. And those are nice because they bring people into the bookstore. And then they're possibly going to spot something else they'd like to take home with them. So branching out into carrying other items, which is a challenge again in our small space. But we manage.
Recently, there's been an increase in independent bookstores.
Yes.
And their success.
Yes.
What do you attest that to?
We had shrunk, our number nationally had shrunk to, I think, 1,600 in 2009. And now the number has swollen up into, I think we're at 2,470 nationwide. That's not 2,470 indies necessarily, because there are some people that own a handful of stores. But yeah, I attribute that to a number of things. I think there's been a strong shop local movement. I think people are realizing that they vote in part with their pocketbooks for what their communities are going to be like. So lots of people will call us from another big store, which I shall not name, and ask if we have a book, and they'll come and get it from us instead of picking it up from a big competitor. Well, they want to spend money and support their local small businesses, I think.
So why should someone come into their local independent bookstore rather than just going on Amazon and ordering a couple of books?
Yeah, it's always going to be easier just to push a button, and nowadays you can have your groceries delivered, you can push a button and your vacuuming will get done, I just think that people will have to decide what they want their communities to be like. If they want to have mom and pop stores, if they want to have that. I think people come into Coalesce, I hope they come into Coalesce, and I hope it smells good to them, and I hope that they feel like they're welcome, whoever they are. Oops. I hope that the experience of a small shop like that will be something they want to see survive. Sorry. So that would be my hope. And that would be, that is what I think will happen. And I think that that's what I'm going to keep working for.
And then what do you see Coalesce's role in this community?
I love having a space that people can use. I mean, we really, our chapel's used a lot by the community. We do, you know, candidates nights and kids things and story hour. One thing I forgot to mention is that is important that we do a lot of is two things I'd like to mention. One is that we do a lot with local authors. We do regular book signings and, you know, host our local authors at probably 40 times a year. I mean, almost once a week. Which brings me to another thing I'd like to mention is I couldn't do this if it wasn't for the people I work with. Obviously. I mean, we do a lot of multitasking. We're managing all of these events that are happening day after day after day after day, you know, ordering books and gifts. And I have the best people in the world that I'm working with. And they've been with me a long time. Cher's worked with me for 40-some years. Joanne has been here for well into the mid-30s. You know, our new gal on the block, we have a new employee, and even she's been here close to 5 years now. So we all get to know everybody. We all get to know, not only do we know the store really well, but we know the people in our community. And it all just kind of weaves together in a nice way to make for one big family is kind of what it feels like.
Are there any other avenues of thought that we missed, or is there anything we missed that you wanted to go back and touch upon, or any closing thoughts?
Probably one that you've heard 1,000 times. I would say this has been one for the books, John. I really can't. You've done a great job of really thinking about your